Hi everybody, my name is Sam Pedro and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing this book right here, which is Indonesia Etc. by Elizabeth Pisani. I'll just do a quick overview of the book and share a few thoughts and a few takeaways from this book. And so first off, why did I want to read this book? I was looking at a list of the largest countries by population, and of the top 10 largest countries in the world, Indonesia is number 4. It's a huge country. 1 out of every 30 people in the world live in Indonesia, and I knew almost nothing about it, the culture or the geography, other than a few things. And so I wanted to read a book that kind of talked a little bit more about Indonesia, could help me understand the country a little bit more. So I was just kind of fascinated to learn about Indonesia. And so a little background about the book. Elizabeth Pisani is a journalist and a very seasoned journalist. She has a lot of experience. She worked for Reuters and also for The Economist and spent a lot of time reporting in Indonesia on various aspects of the culture. And so she's well versed in Indonesia, a lot of experience in the country and working with the people. And so she decided about 10 years ago that she wanted to visit Indonesia again and see a huge portion of the country. So go visit as many places as she could. And she had the goal that she would write a book about her travels and about the country of Indonesia. And so that's kind of the setup of the book. She's basically traveling from island to island and kind of just explaining what she sees, while at the same time explaining Indonesian culture and how it kind of fits into the world. And one of the first things that is striking about Indonesia is just how big it is and how culturally diverse it is as well. So there's like 13,000 islands, and each island almost has its own culture and could be widely different from another island. And so it was interesting for her, or I guess to read about her traveling to different islands and just encountering people there that were totally different from the people we just read about. But she does a really great job at explaining the culture and the beliefs and what makes up a person on that island's life. What are their day-to-day issues? What are they thinking about? What are they focused on? So I found that really fascinating. A lot of it talks about the island of Java, which has, I think, 150 million people living on this one island. It's the most populated island in the world. It's where Jakarta is, and a lot of Indonesian culture is on this island. And so she also explains a lot about Java and the culture there, and a lot about what other islands think of Java, because Java's, the big place. It's the city. It's the place where things are happening. And so she explains how outsiders on different islands, how they view Indonesian culture on Java Island. One thing that really stuck out to me was religion in Indonesia. I don't think I knew this, but Indonesia is a Muslim majority country, but there's also a pretty big portion of the population that are Christians, and it has caused a lot of conflict over the years, especially in these hotbeds in Indonesia where there are Muslims next to Christians. And there's just been a lot of conflict, and I don't think I've really internalized that. I'm sure I've seen it on the news somewhere, but I didn't know that there was so much conflict around religion in Indonesia. She has a lot to say about that. She talks about the different religions, and what's really interesting is that she spent time in Indonesia in the late 80s and then in the 90s. And so she talks about how religion in Indonesia has changed just over a few decades. She says that people now tend to display their religion more. You can tell that they belong to some type of religion, specifically Muslim, in what they're wearing. Where she said a few decades ago that was not the case, and so that's just one change she noted. But she gives a lot of insight into the world of religion in Indonesia. Another part of the book I really liked was her description of the country. And when I was reviewing what I had read, the word that came to me was the wildness of Indonesia. And I don't know if that's the correct word, but she visited some of these far out places that aren't visited much by foreigners. And she just has a great way to describe the wildness. She spent a lot of times on buses, on unpaved roads, where the bus would break down, or where she'd spend, in the next city she's going to, she doesn't have anywhere to stay, so she'll stay with the bus driver. Kind of those situations. And a lot of it is a credit to her and really her courage and boldness and just going to these places, not being scared, and being willing to do whatever it takes to, to explore the country. She talked about visiting one place, I can't remember the name of it, but a few days prior, a woman had been killed by an alligator. And so the town called in an alligator shaman from a couple islands away to come and do a ritual in order to find the alligator and to kill the alligator, basically. And so she talks about what it was like seeing that, and she was with all these men who were going out hunting for this alligator. And it's kind of interesting, the shaman wasn't having any luck finding this alligator, and he blamed it on her as a woman and as a foreigner, and so they made her leave, but I don't think they ever found the alligator. But it's just really interesting to hear her description of that. I mean, that's just one example of a story that, like, I can still remember, and I thought the description of it was really great. And I found that a lot in this book. I think she does a really good job at kind of explaining each island and giving you a flavor of what kind of that culture was like. Now, overall, I thought this did a great job at teaching me more about Indonesia, giving me an overview. I know there's a lot I still don't know about this country, but I thought this was a good introduction to the country of Indonesia. I learned a lot of things I had no idea about. So I do recommend this book if you don't know anything about Indonesia. I think this is a great book to start, or if you just like to explore or read books about geography or areas you don't know about, I think you would enjoy this book as well. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.